Please grant, guys, please grant. We'll just take a little break out from rehearsals for just a momente. Gracias. Oh, audiences, darling. There's absolutely nothing you can tell moi about les audiences. When I was directing back in Paris, les jours. We used to have a saying, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose. Yeah, that was the saying. I'm sure that was the saying. The audiences were always the same, night after night, same old, absolument nil point in adapting the production. Nil point. Always the same, darling, always the same. You know your audience. Of course you do. You present, coach, train, speak. Knowing your audience well is part of your preparation. But how well? How well do you know how to unlock your audience's unique perspectives? Other presenters might reduce their audience down to a demographic, an average, a sea of faces.
Faces in the sea. We get quite a lot of that here in Redbooton, particularly after our cliffhanging, nail-biting performances. If you get what I mean.
Note to self, avoid invitations to perform in Redbooton. Back to your audience, your sea of faces, hopefully still with you in your auditorium rather than in the sea at Redbooton. Our director is a classic. He really is. He reduces his audience down to a demographic, an average. They are always the same. Whilst it's the easy thing to do, it creates a somewhat adequate result for them, both for him as a speaker and of course for them as an audience. But somewhat adequate is not acceptable to modern audiences. Now, most people are in the habit of seeking out speakers and media creators who resonate with them naturally. You, however, are not the director, nor the mayor of Redbooton. You speak to a varied group of people because it's your job, it's your profession, or it's your business. It is imperative for you to sculpt a script that speaks, truly, absolutely, devastatingly speaks to the vast majority of your audience members. Without that script, you will blend in, bland in even, with the vast majority of other presenters. With powerful scripting based on echo, engage, compel, haunt, obsess, combined with a view of your audience that honours their individual perspectives, you can impact them with a speak performance they will never forget.
I always impact on my audience, if you knows what I mean, and they never forgets me.
Namaste. A guru is squeaking. A guru is just squeaking. A sensational squeaking. And you will listen. You will listen to me, for I am the guru of all things. A squeaky. Today I will instruct you on the ball sacks. The ball sacks are very important when you are exposing yourself to your audience, and you must never forget the ball sacks. Temperature is vital for the comfort or not comfort of your audience. there are two crystal methodologies. First, to warm. When your cavities are too warm and moist, the humidity, the audience is getting sleepy, and they drift away to bye-bye land. When they are penetrating in their deep seas, you can command them hypnotically. Cluck like the chicken, give me all your money, open all your holes of ears, as Garuda's information dumpies on your face. Warm is good for the sub-minis. Then you have the ball sacks. The ball sacks are cut than all surrounding regions, and when they are cut, they are alert and they shiver. They are listening to Guru. And if you want me to turn it up the volume, then you will listen. To ease yourself slowly into the homes and the orifices of your audience, pay attention to the warm moistness of the cavities and the ball sacks. Guru has scrotum. Namaste. Definitely never performing in Red Button. The key to unlocking your audience's unique perspectives, their secret modalities, is to approach them as contrasting, complementing and conflicting shades of a whole. The Butterfly House is a paradigm that offers you an in-depth way of achieving this. Now, it may take some time to learn, more to master, but when this system becomes second nature, you can use it to magnificent effect. Let's explore a few aspects of the Butterfly House here.
Butterfly house? A butterfly house? I say, dear chap, a bit of a coincidence, dear boy. The Butterfly House appeared on the agenda at our recent Standing on the Stage Oars and Rollocks subcommittee, you know. I assumed it was a proposal to build a new town tourist attraction, so I struck it off the agenda immediately. A chairman's prerogative, you know. But apparently it had been tabled due to my perceived inability to get our message across to our residents. As if it remains struck off.
Interesting. Who do you know in your world, in the business world, who would be so much more effective, so much more authoritative, would connect more if they spoke to their audiences in the way they wanted to be spoken to? Let's help the mayor of Standing on the Stage out here for a moment by taking a top-level look at the Butterfly House, examining the characteristics, the polarities of a selection of the people that you may encounter in your audience. We'll focus on one polarity, that of introverts, extroverts, and indeed ambiverts. Perhaps characteristics that spring to mind fairly readily, hence the first of many polarities within the Butterfly House. Introverts first. Introverts? Yeah, introduce the sausage into the polar sides. Namaste. A Guru is speaking, and you will listen. You will listen. A Guru is the speaking sensualization of the sensual speaking. A Guru knows all about audiences, all about the polar sides. Introducing the worst sausage into the polar sides will definitely segment your audience. Namaste, Guru has spoken. As I was saying, introverts first. Sausages or no sausages, when the meeting organiser says, and now it's time for the fun part of the day, the networking session, or stand up and introduce yourself on the spot, an introvert's heart sinks. An introvert gains nourishment from being alone, indeed needs time to be alone, needs time alone to recharge, particularly after a networking session. Let's all go to the bar. No, I need to go to my room alone. Introverts will internalize monologues, need to think and plan what they are going to say next. Their reaction to a situation is to internally process, so they can be difficult to talk to. Whatever you are delivering, workshop, webinar, presentation, that processing time needs to be allowed for, otherwise you'll lose them. An extrovert, on the other hand, externalizes monologue. An extrovert's first reaction is to speak out loud, use a flow of words as the process, gaining nourishment from being with others.
No recharging needed here. I am being charged by being with you.
An extrovert draws energy from being with people. Networking, bring it on. Then let's go to the bar.
I was about to say, stuff and nonsense, young man, but this is beginning to make sense. To the bar is my rallying cry after a long, arduous committee meeting. Now, some of the team are a tad reluctant on the G&T front, you know. Lack of moral fibre, my grandfather would have said. He commanded a Sopwith Camel squadron in World War I, you know. But this does make sense. Perhaps, just perhaps, I shouldn't have struck off the Butterfly House from the agenda.
There's still time, Mr. Mayor. There's still time. Back to the audience. Back to your audience. Somewhere in the middle, both introvert and extrovert, you'll find the ambivert. Potentially able to pull it out of the bag and big it up on stage. But permit them to slip off early from the post-event party to recharge on their own with hot chocolate and a film to wind down to. Ambiverts have the potential to deliver to thousands, yet can dry up when there's only a few in the room.
Bingo, dear boy, bingo! I jolly well know exactly who you mean on my team. I'm putting in an order for hot chocolate now, right now, in triplicate.
Excellent! Yet we've only scratched the surface here of unlocking your audience's unique perspectives. Understanding the polarities of the characters within your audience, enabling you to tailor your delivery. What about potentials? Those who can use their imagination to problem solve, can see the potential, can leverage their imagination, their creativity to problem solve. Or tangibles who can only feel for what they've done based on the past. Or a synthesis who sits between the two, activating their imagination whilst combining with memory and experience what has happened with what could happen. Okay, so where do these polarities fit with presenting?
or indeed delivering public meetings in our standing on the stage ovation theatre, let alone chairing the Oars and Rollocks subcommittee. This is becoming rather interesting, dear boy. Do tell more.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will. Whilst some of your audience members will sit at the extremes, others will be a blended shade, somewhere near the middle. Your audience will have extreme extroverts, extreme introverts, and many ambiverts at various degrees of shade, tangibles, potentials, and synthesis. Be aware that today, people who are exposed to social media in their daily lives are becoming more extreme in the way they process the world, the way they behave, and the way they make decisions. Algorithms are designed to nudge people towards extreme thinking, extreme behaviour, as people with extremist views are more likely to engage with content, more compelled to keep viewing, and will interact better, clicking, scrolling, and buying.
Funny that. I'm always nudging people round to my way of thinking, if you know what I mean.
Algorithms tend not to leave bruises, though, Des. Well, not ones that you can see. Although, perhaps I shouldn't be saying that to Des. Back to today's social media. This has led to a greater polarising of society, which makes your job as a presenter much more challenging, which is where the Butterfly House comes into its own. Whilst using a system based on 2 poles is a fantastic map for navigating how you script for audiences, our real world is 3-dimensional. Adding a 3rd dimension, a 3rd polarity, takes us from a map to the territory. By doing so, we offer results based on reality rather than simply the idea of reality. We explore the 3rd polarity, believer, skeptic, and sympath, in more detail in the 12-week immersive transmedia experience, your workshop program, building a paradigm cube out of characteristics that enables you to pinpoint where audience members are likely to be upon a spectrum of shades, whilst ensuring your scripts speak to a wider variety of audiences. Add to this a deeper understanding of yourself. When you know your shades with the Butterfly House, you will also appreciate who is easy or more natural to communicate with. Also, who might need some extra thought and effort. Also, identify those that are simply so far removed from you, they will never really get you or what you are sharing. Welcome to the Butterfly House.
Right, that's it. I'm off to put the Butterfly House back on the agenda for the next Standing on the Stage Oars and Rollocks subcommittee. Our next public meeting in the Ovation Theatre is about to become a lot more interesting, indeed more engaging, to a lot more of our local townsfolk in Standing on the Stage. I'll see you there.